Yet another historical announcement for Northeast India. Gradual withdrawal of AFSPA. A troubling nerve that has traumas and pains spread across the Seven Sisters and more. So, Home Minister has gone ahead and said that there will no need of such a law where we will ensure that it remains only in the required district. So, there will be no AFSPA in Northeast. So this indicates how government is looking to move away from security-driven approach to a development-centric approach. This indicates that Northeast India is ready to be not just be an insurgency-inflicted region, but to be seen a region with peace, connectivity, development, tourism, and so much more. So this announcement is going to bring Northeast India much inches closer to the mainland. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are going to discuss in detail that when Home Minister is talking about removal of AFSPA, why it is an important step that will change how Northeast is transitioning, the role that Northeast plays in the current development trajectory, and so much more. So let us try to understand that what exactly has been announced. So basically, our Union Home Minister Amit Shah has announced that there will be removal of AFSPA across the Northeast by 2027, and at max it will be present in certain districts where it will be required other than nowhere else. So our Union Home Minister Amit Shah has announced that AFSPA, that is Armed Forces Special Powers Act, that will be removed completely from Northeast, required only in certain districts, and this will be implemented by 2027, that is very next year. Now this statement came during the signing of an MOU where the chief ministers of multiple states such as Assam, Nagaland were also present, and this signing of MOU between Centre and Assam will lead to another important operation, that is mineral oil operations in Assam and Nagaland boundary areas. So this clearly marks that how Centre is involved in development of the Northeast region. And this is where AFSPA, which has been, as I said, a troubling nerve, which carries a lot of difficulties and concerns, which was put in place for certain reasons, this is being considered to be removed. So to understand this better, we have to first break this down and understand what exactly is AFSPA. So let us begin directly there. So let us move to that in a bit. Before that, we also need to look into that how this has been exclaimed as the removal of last hurdle. That means if we will remove AFSPA from Northeast, then the developed Northeast and the vision of it is easily achievable. It is going to come alive. Now let us straight up move to understand that what exactly is AFSPA. Now when we talk about AFSPA, Armed Forces Special Powers Act, this act, as the name itself suggests, provides special powers to the armed forces. Now you will ask how these special powers are provided. So this act was brought in itself so as to ensure that if there is any suspect, any problem in certain declared disturbed areas on account of insurgent activities. So when certain areas were labeled as disturbed, in these areas the armed forces will have extreme force. It can be to fire upon or use force or arrest suspicious people without warrant, destroy any structure which is suspected to house an arms dump, and conduct searches without warrants for evidence and more. Now this clearly shows that AFSPA gave ultimate lethal powers to armed forces, but it also gave protection. They were allowed to use the power and they were protected also. How they were protected? They were protected from any prosecution or proceedings except with Centre's nod. That means central government will give the nod, then only any prosecution can be taken against these armed forces and the personnels, and if they have exercised their power under this given act, then they cannot be. So only way to get a prosecution or proceeding on such officers would be to get Centre's permission. Otherwise, it is not allowed. Any action can be committed under the purview of this very act. And that is exactly what made AFSPA controversial. Because this was not just about powers, this was also about that how these powers are going to be used. If these extraordinary powers are going to raise some concerns which they have, such as human right violations, excess use of force, arbitrary arrest, no use of warrants, and then the protection. Then there were democratic concerns also, because this is a sheer direct form of militarization. When we are talking about a country which is democratic in nature, what a law of such nature is doing here. And when we look at implementation of AFSPA, and when you look into the background of it, that why it was implemented, this also gives you a lot of context here itself. Because when AFSPA was brought into the picture, it was to address the rising insurgency in Northeast. Then we had multiple separatist movements. Don't forget about the tough terrains that exist there, and also the international borders, making it very important from the perspective of national security and internal security, at the same time making it highly vulnerable, which needed a law of iron hand. But this iron hand has created a lot of problems, as we have just discussed as well. AFSPA was enacted in 1958 and it was applied to Naga Hills in that very year. Later, when we are looking at Nagaland, which was created 1963, it was extended to this very region as well. AFSPA was gradually extended across Manipur due to insurgency. By 1980s, areas which saw militancy in Assam, they also came under the purview of AFSPA by 1990s. 1997, it was taken up in Tripura to address the cross-border issues, and this is when this was gradually intensified. We have seen huge resistance as well. If you might remember the name of Iram Sharmila, she carried out 16 years long hunger strike to address and withdraw AFSPA. But gradually that change came in. That came in when 2015 complete withdrawal of AFSPA was done from Tripura. 2022 to 26, as of now, we have seen a phased rollback. And as of now, presently in Northeast, only 4 states, Assam, Nagaland, Manipur and Arunachal, that too only in selective areas present as of now. Apart from that, it has been reduced, and it is being said that it will see a gradual full removal as well, which will ensure that the brighter, more developed, more connected, more peaceful future of Northeast finally arrives. But the question is, why this rollback now? This rollback is happening because 80% decline in insurgency incidents have been seen. More than 12 plus peace agreements have been signed. For example, Bodo Peace Accord 2020, Karbi Agreement 2021, Bruriang Settlement 2020, and so many more. There have been a sharp fall in civilian casualty in recent years. The security force fatalities have also gone down, and massive connectivity and infrastructure push. Can you imagine states such as Mizoram has finally seen railways arrive? So this is where this is marking that how the connectivity is enhancing, how the development push is becoming real, and this has ensured the transition from a region which was conflict ridden. Then peace accords came into picture, development came into picture, and this might lay the floor for AFSPA rollback. And this is where we can hopefully look towards a future where Northeast becomes the region where there are new investments, industrial projects coming in. There will be extreme boost to tourism and employment if AFSPA rollback actually comes into the picture, because rollback of AFSPA will be a new dawn in the Northeast. This will bring in a political, economic, strategic shift. It will talk about stability. It will support India's foreign policy, that is Act East policy, which will also ensure border region development, tourism, and so much more. And most importantly, it will restore normalcy. People who have suffered, people who have seen militarization in a country which talks about democracy, which names itself democracy, they might actually be able to gain some confidence, show some confidence on the governance and more. So this is where it is important to bring civil liberties into the picture, because this will pave way, as I said, for a newer Northeast India. But at the same time, the security imperatives also need to be kept in mind. Now that was all from my side. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. Thank you so much.